Oh.
Hi everybody, welcome today to our TED Talk. We're going to be discussing during the length of this the strange case of David Berkowitz, who led a very criminal and murderous life, largely due to his psychological disorder that is known as schizophrenia.
Oh.
Okay, so schizophrenia can be defined as a brain disorder that's often linked with psychosis as well, that essentially disables and messes up brain functioning, as well as a person's ability to actually think clearly. A lot of people that have it end up interpreting reality differently, and it can even be cases where their own imagination becomes their real life. Examples of this are if people can have a tendency to think that somebody's chasing them or somebody's watching them all the time when that isn't the case, or they can have really serious visuals where there's constantly bugs around them, or where they have it can be a more serious situation where they have tendencies to want to cause harm on people even though they don't feel like it's themselves. Okay, so some of the symptoms of schizophrenia, some of the positive symptoms are people can experience delusions as well as hallucinations, things like irrational thoughts and very disorganized thoughts, which can lead to erratic behaviors. Some negative symptoms is essentially just a loss of normal behaviors and normal functioning, as well as being much less social, speaking less, and then experiencing something called anhedonia, which is the inability to feel any pleasure.
Okay, so it's normally hypothesized that there is excessive dopamine levels in the brain in patients who have schizophrenia. So the typical patient has a higher dopamine activity level and take drugs that block the dopamine that are effective in treating the positive symptoms of schizophrenia. The D2 receptor in the brain plays a key role in guiding the attention, so that's why those with schizophrenia tend to hear things that are around them and want to lower the dopamine levels in their brain. They also have a decreased amount of white and gray matter in the brain, and there's also a ventricular enlargement that you can see in patients that have dementia or Huntington's. And there's also some environmental effects of schizophrenia, like your mother having the flu during her second trimester, which is actually very interesting and random, and also stress and starvation seen in children can lead to higher risk of getting schizophrenia as an adult. And there's also prefrontal activity and functioning that's reduced, and that blames the prefrontal dopamine in the body.
No.
Today we were talking about the specific case of David Berkowitz. He was an active Army member, and he was born June 1st of 1953 in Brooklyn, New York, and is the height of 5'8". His nickname is Son of Sam, since he is a killer, and as well as he's still in jail today at age 69.
So David Berkowitz began his killings in 1975, and he mostly targeted young girls and young couples in uncrowded areas. So the couples were typically sitting in a car. And in 1976, he actually began killing dogs, specifically German Shepherds and even his landlord's Black Labrador. And after his arrest, he actually claimed that Black Labrador told him to do all the killings and was talking to him on behalf of Satan.
Go.
So, as Zoe and Brooklyn mentioned, schizophrenia includes symptoms such as hallucinations, irrational thoughts, and bizarre behavior. People with this disorder experience reality differently. David Berkowitz displayed the symptoms of auditory hallucinations, violent behavior, and irrational thoughts, shown by the fact that he killed many people and claimed that his landlord's dog told him to do it. So, thank you for listening to the case of David Berkowitz, and special shout out to Neva for these awesome drawings.